Good morning to you all in the Mighty Networks Making of a Marriage community. My name's Meg. I just wanted to be the first to welcome you by video. I think this is the first video we posted here. Welcome, welcome. We've had so many new people join since we're making the great migration from Facebook to Mighty Networks. So I have my list of things that I want to talk to you about today. I have my laptop pulled open because sometimes it's actually easier to learn how to use the Mighty Networks on a laptop than it is through the app. I think that's my personal opinion. I've done both. So maybe if you do have a laptop or a desktop and you just want to open it up, you can kind of get an idea of how this is organized a little better. But first of all, I just want to say thank you for being here. Our goal, there's now 5 of us who are going to help moderate this group. I am the host. I'm the one who started the Mighty Networks community, but we also have 4 others who you'll be getting to know as we go forward. But the goals are different here than they are on other social media platforms. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about why that's true. So usually when we type in something to Google, we go to find things. We go to have people give us things. You know, we ask questions. We, I don't know, we look for DIYs or plans or answers to the things that we're looking for. So that is true of the Mighty Network also. However, it's not going to be in a consumeristic way. So for instance, think about when you log into Facebook, and it's kind of out of habit anymore, right? Because we do it so often, but we just kind of scroll through. And it's become a mindless, entertaining activity. And honestly, Facebook wants it to be like that. They've changed their algorithms to point people into the direction of the content that's most popular, the content that has the most comments, and honestly, the content that makes them the most money. So it's very similar to maybe how you think of YouTube, how YouTubers make money. The videos that get the most clicks, they advertise on those videos. And so it doesn't matter where you go, whether it's your own profile page, whether it's a group, whether it's like some sort of celebrity that you follow, you're being targeted constantly on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, yada, yada, yada. So you know that. So the problem with that is not necessarily that we're buying there or that we're being entertained there. That's fine. We want to see that for what it is. It is what it is. If you want to zone out, go ahead, scroll through those feeds and just see what's happening. But for our purposes, when we're talking about marriage, when we're talking about family, when we're talking about whatever, intimacy, addiction, abuse, romance, all those things, you don't really want to hang out with people who are checked out of their lives, right? You want somebody who's going to be your friend. You actually want to make a connection. And so that's the number one goal of this group, and that's why we're different. This is not like pop in, check out, see what's happening on the app. The emphasis here is that there are real people behind these screen names. They exist. They exist so much that the Mighty Network helps us to even match based on proximity, where we live in all across the world. So for instance, Seattle, we have a member from Seattle. Hey, Brittany, if I'm in Seattle, I want to go have coffee with her because we've had some really interesting conversations so far. Or if I'm in Florida, you know, we have people from all over the country. So I want you, as you log into the Mighty Network and you become a part of this community, to actually make friends and message them and swap ideas and ask questions. Honestly, this is so different than Facebook because you'll get out what you put in. It's the only way to describe that, isn't it? You'll get out what you put in. So there's not going to be a whole lot of advertising over here, other than when we start a new challenge, you'll see that. When there's maybe a new workbook or something like that available that we can all go through together, I'll let you know about that. But the focus will not be on video and entertainment. So that being said, let me pull up my other notes here. There were some questions about how to actually use some app. So I'm going to go ahead and answer those. Since I was the one who, oh Lord, I hope this is going to be okay, but I'm the one who organized a lot of the topics in the channels and have been. So if you have requests, you've just got to let me know because I may not think the way that you think. It may be counterintuitive for you, but I hope it's going to make sense here. So there are 3 ways that we're going to organize. And this is what's so much better than Facebook because our group was on Facebook for a long time. Nobody is going to filter which posts you see. Now there is an option as I'm clicking over here, it has the arrows at the top. You can filter everything, your personal feed, your activity, or just from the hosts that you're following, depending on the topic you're interested in. You can sort it based on last activity, or you can just put it in chronological order. I prefer to put it in chronological order. That way I can make sure I'm not missing comments from people, because I want to know who you are and I want to know what's important to you. And so if it's constantly just bumping up the top posts, you've seen how that happens in Facebook, right? It just bumps up the top posts. And even over there, if nobody likes that post within a certain amount of time, it just goes away. So none of that. This is purely face value. The post is here. This was the date. This is what's most important, and it's all in order. So you can change those settings on your own if you want to, but you certainly don't have to. So the first way that we're going to organize content is by topic. So everybody is in the main feed. So when you log into your app, all the information that's posted from any member so far is going to be in your main feed. And that's the goal. We want men and women here actually having conversations about what it's like to be married, what it's like to parent together, what it's like to hash out difficult conversations like career, or decide, is somebody gonna stay home? Who does the housework? And how are we gonna budget? So all the main content will stay in the main feed, and that's for a reason, so that we can learn from one another. Now there are some exceptions to those rules. I'll get there in a second. But within the main feed, you can click on, so if you're on your mobile, click on the 3 lines that are at the top of your page. If you're on desktop, you'll see it at the top left of your page. But if you click on those 3 lines, you'll see home, discovery, members, about, topics, events, channels, the site, okay? So I'm talking specifically about topics. So when you think about hashtags, that's what a topic is. It is the main keyword that any post is about. And I know that we're kind of conditioned to think that hashtags are supposed to be funny. They're not really funny. It's like a genius online library is what a hashtag is. So anytime somebody uses the word posts about infidelity or gift ideas for Valentine's Day or something like that, it will prompt you as you post to choose a topic to file it under. So that way, if we're looking for something specific, or if a new member comes in and joins us, they can look through those topics and they can read all the posts that are organized under that topic. So that in and of itself is so much easier to use than it would be in a group on Facebook. So the first way is topics. Topics exist in our main feed. Topics also exist in our private channels. Let me talk to you about why we have private channels. These are not the rule, but the exception to the rule. And there's a method behind the madness. So if you click on channels, the ones we have so far are like romantic photography. We have the military and first responder channel, the man cave, affair recovery, and help for sex and intimacy. So just as you hear the titles to these channels, you know that those are a little bit more intricate to talk about. So therefore, we're not going to have all of that stuff in the main feed. Some of it definitely needs to be in the main feed, because we need to be having collective conversations as men and women, brothers and sisters, about how to support one another and how to maintain healthy families. But for instance, it makes sense to me why we would have a military and first responder channel. There are significant challenges that those families who work in that industry, right, the people care industry, come up against that maybe the normal population wouldn't understand. If you are going to take romantic pictures of yourself, I suspect that you're probably not going to want to share those pictures in a group filled with men and women and just so many people that maybe aren't close to you. But if we have private channels, then that frees you up to be yourself. And it also gives you a collective space for people who have very similar things in common. So you can click on the channel bar and you can kind of look through those. And if there is something specific to what you're looking for, or you're interested in, or just the type of friendship that you want to make, I would suggest you join a channel. Right now, this is really important to know, all of these channels are free. There will only be a couple that will not be free probably in the future, and that's because they're extremely delicate. I think some of you know that my background is in marriage and family therapy, and although in no way, shape, or form is this platform a place to give you personal advice, let me just put that out there right now. Let me repeat, this Making of a Marriage community is not an adequate substitution for proper care by a healthcare trained licensed professional. That is not the hat I'm wearing in the Making of a Marriage community on the Mighty Networks. However, the hat I am wearing is education. So when Affair Recovery will probably go to a paid situation, and it'll only be like $1.99 or $2.90. It's not going to be a whole lot of money. That'll be a subscription, because I will spend a lot of time pulling vetted, really well done research, resources, podcasts, whatever it is. I'm going to make sure you get the information that you actually need, because it's such a delicate topic. So that'll be true of Affair Recovery, and potentially if we have an addiction and or an abuse channel. And once again, that is not a proper substitute for anything face-to-face. That you need to go to the doctor if you've experienced that. You need to be working with a healthcare professional in your area. But again, for those resources, education, and for some of the questions that do pop up, I'd feel more comfortable being in the industry that I'm in, that I am there and I'm spending an adequate amount of time guiding you in the right direction. So other than that, each channel will remain free, but in the future, just a heads up that if you're in one of those situations, that there might be a fee, just because I'm really going to give you everything I have, all the time that I can possibly give you to navigate those challenges. Okay, so we've covered topics, which are just like hashtags. We've covered channels, private, free versus paid. They'll all be private, and that means the people in the main feed will not see the content that's in the channels unless they join the channel and are approved to do so. And then the other thing is that the messaging and the live videos are still the exact same, just like on all the other platforms. So if we have an event, you know, if we launch a new challenge, we're going to try to do a challenge every single month, some sort of challenge. So that is, we do it together, we figure out what the call is, we actually go and do it, experience it with our spouses and families, and then we come back and we discuss how it went, how could it have been improved, was it really an area of personal growth, or was it a little too easy, you know, how is it going, and what are we looking for next time? So that'll constantly be tweaked, and we're going to try to do a challenge once a month. So I'm pretty sure those are the main differences that you'll notice being on the Mighty Network versus being other places. So I'm going to go ahead and post this in the main feed, and I will put it under the topic of like how-tos. I'll create a new topic, how-tos, so that if you ever need to look back, you can go ahead and do that. But I'm just really glad you're here, and I think if I could leave you with one thing, it's make friends. Take time to actually message somebody. Go back, look through the comments where we've asked some questions already. Where are you from? What do you do? What are you looking for? And if you have something in common with somebody, make a friend. Please don't, go back to those old ways of just scrolling through the feed and never really connecting. So I'm going to hang up with you right now, and I'm actually going to go message somebody and say, how was your day? How can I pray for you? How can I give you a high five? What are you looking for? And I'm going to go get to know somebody. So I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. And if you have the day off tomorrow, shame on you, but I'm jealous, and it's wonderful for President's Day. So I'll talk to you all later. Bye.